Hi folks, John Cordisco back again. Round 5 of the Gashimov Memorial 2016. This is the third edition, third year. In honor of Vugar Gashimov, a great Azerbaijan player that passed away 3 years ago, brain tumor. Great player, nice guy. This is a game from the 5th round as white. Current U.S. champion, still have to get used to saying that. Fabiano Caruana, world-class player. And as black, someone that used to be in the top 10 for a long time has dropped off last year or two. Timur Radjabov from Azerbaijan is black. Let's get to it. It's going to be a Sicilian. Caruana is white. Radjabov is black. We'll just go through the opening here. Interesting Sicilian, though. Bishop. Knight. Knight c3. Castles, bishop f4. Now according to the computer, that's the last book move. This isn't too bad for black here. I'll be honest with you, I think black is equalized already after b6. Interesting might have been knight h5. Then after bishop moves, queen d6. Then queen d2. But after b6, queen d2 anyway, rook e8. Castles long, typical Sicilian, opposite side castling a5. So Radjabov is going right away with the pawn storm. Knight e5, hitting the pawn on c6. Just ignores it and plays b5. Computer likes knight takes c6, and I kind of do myself. Queen will go to b6 after that. But Caruana decided to go queen to e3 instead, hitting both pawns. Queen to b6, guarding both pawns. Bishop h6. And there's a choice here. You see this a lot with the rooks moved from f8 with the bishop down there. I wouldn't trade, of course, put the queen on h6, but do you leave the bishop or do you put the bishop in the corner? Radjabov decided to put the bishop in the corner and save it. f4, here comes the pawn storm. a4, typical Sicilian, you see a lot of this. Pawn storm on each side. Whoever gets there first usually wins. Rook comes over. e6. Really covering that. Well, plus the d5 square, but also the pawn push. You have the bishop backing it up. g4. Here comes the other pawn. So Radjabov just continues with a3. I think b4 might have been better served. Maybe knight to d7 and drive that knight away. Decided to go a3. Probably not the most accurate move. Big on b4 instead. After knight c4, queen goes to a7, and black's still okay here. After a3, b4, a deflection. As you can see, the pawn can't take because the queen's in pre. Knight d7, guarding the c5 pawn. Knight takes, and now e5, leaving that tension there on b4 and c5. So white in the last few moves is done very well. I think Radjabov dropped the ball by going a3 instead of b4. Pawn f5. Knight e2. Finally goes after the bishop. Because now, as we can see, the queen's not guarding it anymore. Bishop takes, king takes, h4. Here comes the pawn storm. F takes, h5. G takes, knight g3, and here it comes. King H8 just gets right out of the way, gives him the pawn back. Rook H7. Slowly but surely, black is slowly getting outplayed. Black queen's not doing much. Actually, it's more harm than good, because if it wasn't there, you could take the pawn on b4. Knight f6. This is where I think Radjabov stumbles. Granted, he's dropped in the ratings the last couple of years in the top 20 in the world, but he's still rated over 2,700. He's still a good player. The best move he can come up with is a question mark. Natural move, of course. Bishop e8. I think it's a crappy move, but what else could he do? His position is just getting so bad. f5. Here it comes. Pawn takes. Rook takes. And slowly but surely the black king is just totally without cover. Queen c7, desperately trying to get in the queen to help with the defense across this way. Rook g5. I think rook h1 would have been a lot better move. But rook h5. And this is where I think he stumbles. Around move 29, he might have been in time trouble. What moves does he have? Rook g7. Which really sucks, because after that, rook goes to h1. You're doomed anyway. So he goes rook g7, and it just starts to deteriorate from here. Rook h1. Bishop g6. Rook takes the pawn. And it looks like black might be able to survive with c takes b4. Maybe. But queen f7, very natural move, just trying to get protection for his king. And that's the beginning of the end. King to b1. C takes. Queen to d4. c5 might survive. Maybe. Deflect the queen. But bishop f5, hitting the rook. And that's it. Decides to go after the queen. What's he going to do here? Queen a7 is his best move for black. Miscalculates completely. Rook takes g4. Pawn takes queen. Rook takes queen. And now knight e8. And there it is. Game's over. Give you an idea. That's where Radjabov resigned. After rook takes, pawn takes, king g7. He's going to lose either the bishop or the rook. Takes. We go through the scenario. That's mate. Tough break for Radjabov. Ever since, I know he got married a few years ago, ever since he had a kid. Maybe just put his priorities in a different way. But anyway, heck of a game by Caruana, taking advantage of Radjabov's miscues. So Caruana wins again. And there you have it from round 5 of the Gashimov Memorial. Hope you enjoyed it. And as I always say at the end of my videos, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.